A thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle.
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Last time you remember, Bullwinkle and his weather forecasting bunion were being spirited away on a mysterious airplane to who knows where.
I know, but I'll never tell.
Meanwhile, back in the nation's capital, Rocky is trudging from office to office trying to get help for his friend.
Now, let's see. Does this moose have any distinguishing marks?
Well, he has a bunion that tells you if it's gonna rain or not.
Well, in that case, you want the Weather Bureau.
I do?
Right that way.
And as he entered the door of the Weather Bureau, Rocky got his first glimpse of the modern miracle of weather forecasting. The batteries of electronic computers, the banks of teletype communicators, the sensitive seismographs, the automatic anemometers and barographs. Such a magnificent example of automation at its finest that only one man is required to run the entire bureau, the chief forecaster himself.
Forecast room. Top secret. Do not enter. But this is an emergency.
And the plucky squirrel marched past the signs and into the forecast room. Then, strangely enough, he heard a familiar voice.
I'll have the forecast in a minute.
Gee, that sounds like...
Uh-oh. Looks like a tornado for Bloomington, Illinois.
It is! Captain Peach Fuzz!
Rocky, my boy. It's just super seeing you again.
But I thought you were head of intelligence. What are you doing in the Weather Bureau?
So Captain Peach Fuzz related the latest step in his checkered career. In his former job as head of G2, Captain Peach Fuzz had organized a huge network of intelligence agents, all of whom spent their time shadowing each other.
Psst, number 8. Why aren't you following me?
You crazy, Seven? This is Thursday.
So?
It's your day to follow me.
The good captain had also been very security-minded.
Here is the latest batch of documents to be classified, Chief. 20,000 leagues under the sea.
All about submarines.
The telephone directory?
My number's in there.
But the crowning moment of the Peach Fuzz career came when he and his agents surrounded what he thought was the hideout of a notorious group of foreign agents.
You're sure this is the right address, Captain?
Of course, I wrote it down myself.
Well, if you say so. Forward, men!
Peach Fuzz, what are you doing?
Oh, there, Mr. Secretary. Mission accomplished.
Congratulations, Peach Fuzz. You have just captured the Supreme Court building. So shortly thereafter, there was a special meeting of government heads.
Well, gentlemen, where do we place a man of Captain Peach Fuzz's, peculiar talents?
What about the Federal Flamingo Farm?
The South Pole Penguin Census?
No, gentlemen, there's only one place for a man who is wrong most of the time.
Of course.
The Weather Bureau.
And here I am, Rocky. It just goes to show, talent will out.
And you use all those great machines out there to predict the weather?
Oh, I have a much better way. Look.
And the captain demonstrated the patented Peach Fuzz prediction process.
Now, Rocky, you read the name of a town.
Peoria.
Rain.
Oshkosh.
Sunny.
Skinny
It's either a heat wave or a snowstorm.
Well, what do I make it?
Unsettled. Now, what can I do for you, Rocky?
And as Rocky began to explain his, or rather Bullwinkle's predicament, the plane bearing the mighty moose and his bunion were traveling farther and farther away.
Pretty soon I'll be out of the plot altogether.
No chance of that, for tomorrow we'll see a crown for Bullwinkle or Monarch Moose.
Well, now you're talking.
And now it's time for...
Time for the dancing fool, Bullwinkle.
Again? And now for one of our special fairy tales.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, in a castle high on a hill, lived a rather peculiar king and his beautiful but unmarried daughter. The knights of the kingdom were always seeking the daughter's hand in marriage, which annoyed the king very much. So he consulted with the royal contractor and ordered him to build a mountain of glass. That's right, smooth, shiny glass. Then, with a derrick, he had his daughter hoisted carefully into the air and placed on top of the glass mountain with a golden apple in her hand. Any suitor who could get to the top would gain the hand of the princess and the golden apple. But let's face it, that was going to be a pretty impossible thing to do. But our story is about an enchanted frog, remember? This frog's name was Filbert, and he lived with his mother and brother, Frank, in the forest. Every evening, all the animals would come to hear the frogs sing their song.
There's a little of the frog in all of us, in all of us, in all of us. There's a little of the frog in all of us, no matter who you be.
My, they were a very happy family, until one day when Filbert started to grow. He grew, and he grew, and he grew, until he was the world's only 5'8" frog.
But this means I'm not a frog at all, but an enchanted prince. I'm just afraid you'll have to carry on as a duet instead of a trio, for I must seek my fortune in the outside world. You do understand, don't you, Mama? I am an enchanted prince.
You're a big, fat frog who has grown too big for his pond, that's what you are. It's a frog-eat-frog existence in the outside world, Filbert.
Oh, what do you know about it, Mama? After all, you're just a frog. You don't understand royalty.
And so Filbert made his way to the outside world.
Pardon me.
Oh, my goodness, a 5'8" frog.
But I'm not a frog. I'm an enchanted prince. Just because I'm green all over and...
And so, with a brand new suit of clothes, Filbert continued on his way. All this time, the princess had been sitting patiently at the top of a mountain of glass. She still had plenty of suitors, but the mountain was as slippery as ice, remember? And getting to the top was a difficult task indeed. In fact, there were those who claimed it was well-nigh impossible. Still, a princess and a golden apple aren't to be sneezed at, so the suitors kept on trying. But they really weren't very good at it.
That king is a nut. It just can't be done.
Oh, I don't know.
Who are you, stranger? And what are you hiding with that false face?
This isn't a false face. It's my face.
Nonsense! You're up to something. After him, men!
And the knights chased Filbert around the mountain, first clockwise, then counterclockwise, then both ways at once. There was nowhere to go but up. So up Filbert went.
Oh, brave prince, at last you've come. Now I can leave this cold mountain of glass. Remove your false face so that I might see the hero who rescued me. What's that on with, glue?
But, fair lady, this is my real face.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
My father's a nut. He has me sit up here in all kinds of weather, waiting for what? Some frog-faced knight. You can have the golden apple, but I'm leaving.
And the princess leaped off the mountain of glass and fell directly into the arms of the royal contractor who'd been waiting for just this chance. The happy pair ran off to get married. When the king saw what had happened, he was furious. Not only had a mere frog conquered his mountain of glass, but his daughter had run off with a commoner.
I want that frog shot at sunrise.
Uh-oh.
So poor Filbert was sent to the king's dungeon to await the firing squad.
Oh, dear, this is a frog-eat-frog world.
He thought of those happy days when he was just a plain frog, sitting in the sun, playing, singing, jumping.
Jumping! That's it!
The next morning, at sunrise, Filbert was led out to the wall.
Ready! Aim! Fire! By George, men, we obliterated him. There's nothing left of him but his blinking clothes.
Meanwhile, back at the forest, Filbert's mother and brother were waiting sadly. Suddenly, they heard a familiar sound that came closer and closer.
That's Filbert.
Hiya, Mom!
So, Filbert found it was really better to be a big frog in a small pond than a small frog on a big mountain. And besides, who can eat golden apples?
Here's Mr. Know-It-All to tell you how to conquer your acrophobia.
Thank you. The first thing to remember is that crabgrass is your friend.
Oh, no, Bullwinkle. Acrophobia is a fear of high places.
Oh, yeah. Thought it was crabgrass. First, the way to lose that heart-pounding fear is go to a high place and jump off. With a parachute, of course. Then, after the count of 3, you pull the ripcord. Which sometimes may not work, so you pull the emergency string. And thereby lose that old fear of falling. Next, we have the indoor fear that usually attacks the ceiling painter. The important thing is that you do not look down. Look to the side. Do not look up, for if you do, your fear of height will... Next, we have the fear of even lesser heights. When standing on stools, sometimes they teeter. That means you should place the stool on a softer surface where the legs will sink in a little, like this soft, mushy ground, for instance. See? No teetering.
Hey, Mr. Know-It-All, if you're telling us how to lose our fear of heights, why are you digging a hole?
'Cause a lot's happened to me, and I'm kind of scared to stand up there where you are.
Oh, well, you're not scared now, are you?
No, not as soon as I get my other shoe off. My heels are too high.
At the close of the 19th century, the Mounties undaunted continued their pursuit of the most wanted man in Canada, Snidely Whiplash, and his most eager pursuer was Acting Corporal Dudley Do-Right.
Stop, Snidely Whiplash, in the name of the law! Oh, shucks, I wasn't that good.
Of course you were. Can't you hear that applause? Now get out there and take another bow. You two there. What a team, what a team. What do you call your team?
Well, I'm Dudley Do-Right, and this here is Snidely Whiplash.
Do-Right and Whiplash, only terrific. What a team. When you said stop in the name of the law, I thought I'd die laughing.
I just think those things up off the top of my head.
Oh, we've got to have you act in this show.
We'll accept on one condition.
What's that?
That I get top billing. Not Do-Right and Whiplash, but Whiplash and Do-Right.
I always knew you were a villain, Whiplash, but I never thought you were a ham.
I never thought you were a ham. Funny. Well, is it all right with you?
Well, I suppose so, the big ham. Anything for the theater.
Okay, be back at 8 sharp for the evening performance.
And a little while later at Mountie headquarters.
So that's the way it is, Inspector Fenwick. I'll have to resign from the force. It's the footlights for me. From now on, I'm in showbiz.
Dudley, think it over. The theater isn't the life for you. Living out of a trunk, eating in cheap restaurants, and teamed up with, of all people, Snidely Whiplash.
The boy's got talent, Inspector.
Bah.
I'm sorry, sir. The theater's in my blood. I must leave you now for... Ta-da! Ta-da! The show must go on.
And at the same time in Whiplash's hideout.
You in show business? Oh, come on, Whiplash.
You don't understand, Homer. They gave me top billing.
Yeah, but you're not.
Besides, this gives me an opportunity to get rid of Dudley Do-Right once and for all.
How's that, Snidely?
Come to the performance and you'll see. Which reminds me, I must be going for...
Ta-da!
The show must go on.
What a ham.
Nell Fenwick happened to be strolling by the theater that night and...
One ticket, please.
Oh, Mr. Do-Right.
Yes, Mr. Whiplash?
You have a complexion just like a peach.
I have a complexion just like a peach. How's that, Mr. Whiplash?
It's all pink and fuzzy. Oh, Mr. Do-Right.
Yes, Mr. Whipsmash?
When does July come before June? In the dictionary.
Snidely Whiplash is making a laughing stock out of you. Come back with me to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
What? And give up show business?
Yay! That's just the thing this act needs. Class. Did you rehearse that bit?
Why, no. I mean...
A method actress, huh? Know what I'm gonna do with you? I'm gonna put you in the act. Whiplash, Do-Right, and, what's your name, baby?
Fenwick.
Fenwick. Whiplash, Do-Right, and Fenwick.
I'll do it on one condition.
Anything.
I get top billing.
Oh, gee, now.
Fenwick, Whiplash, and Do-Right. Songs, dancing, and funny business. Funny business, all right. To think that the name Fenwick would be degraded, dragged in the mud. Well, I shall put a stop to it.
Oh, Mr. Do-Right.
Yes, Miss Fenwick?
Why does a fireman wear red suspenders?
You have me there, Miss Fenwick. Why does a fireman wear red suspenders?
To hold his pants up. Caught you, Snidely Whiplash.
Curses! Foiled again.
Oh, Nell, little Nell, how could you? I mean, you are a Fenwick after all. Going into show business.
Oh, yes, but, Father, don't you see? It was just a trick. And now...
Ta-da!
I have captured arch-villain Snidely Whiplash for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Yay! Just what the act needs. A fat man.
Really? Was I really good?
Only terrific.
Well, I did do a little acting in high school. I remember I was second lead in the desert song. Want on to be my home.
But, Father, I have caught arch-villain Snidely Whiplash.
Stop trying to upstage me, girl. Can't you see this is my big chance at last? Want on to be my home.
Mama's little baby loves shortening. Mama's little baby loves shortening bread. Oh, Mama's little baby loves shortening. Mama's little baby loves shortening bread. Oh, that's shortening, Mama.
Well, Bullwinkle and his talented Bunyan are miles out at sea headed for some unknown destination. Bullwinkle has long since been rocked to sleep.
Yeah, with my very own rock.
And his two captors are standing close guard over his crated hoof. Well, what can be at the bottom of Bullwinkle's bunion?
My foot, maybe?
Meanwhile, in Washington, Rocky has just told his amazing story to the new head of the Weather Bureau, Captain Peter Wrongway Peachfuzz.
So you see, we gotta get Bullwinkle back.
But why should the Weather Bureau help you, Rocky?
Because Bullwinkle's bunion can tell you when it's gonna rain.
It can?
Yeah.
Then he's a valuable national asset. Get me the White House. Hello, hello?
But in punching the button on his desk, Captain Peachfuzz had inadvertently made connection with the Air Defense Commander.
Hello? What? What? Who is it? Right.
What is it, Major?
An emergency call from the White House.
An enemy attack?
No.
Big rescue operation?
No.
Then what?
We're supposed to intercept a flying squirrel.
Any luck, Captain?
I can't seem to get the operator. Never mind, we'll do it ourselves.
Ourselves?
Never fear, Rocky. Captain Peter Peachfuzz is in command. Forward!
And the Phyllis captain marched out of the room and straight into a broom closet.
Gee, it looks like it's gonna be a rough trip.
Well, that is the truth, all right. For as Rocky and Captain Peachfuzz take off in the captain's tiny plane, High above them, a half-dozen fighter planes are patrolling the sky.
What are the orders, Major?
Find the squirrel and force him to land.
And if he doesn't land?
It's an emergency. Shoot him down.
Bogey on the scope, bearing 00.
0, that means he's right under us.
Well, let's get down.
And the plane roared downward through the clouds, closer and closer to our friends. Then suddenly...
Pull up! Pull up!
Yes, the fighter command hadn't reckoned with the flying habits of Captain Peach Fuzz.
That's the new courthouse building, Rocky, made of Carolina limestone.
Look out, Captain!
Oh. Hey, there's new buildings going up all the time.
Yes, the captain's plane was flying so low that the fighters couldn't get anywhere near him. Of course, his flight over the city didn't go unnoticed.
Hey!
What's the matter?
An airplane just flew by.
Don't be silly. This is a bus stop.
I tell you, an airplane just flew by.
He didn't stop, huh?
No, he didn't stop.
Well, don't get sore. Maybe he was full up.
But the city couldn't last forever, and soon the Peach Fuzz plane had to emerge out into the open.
There he is, men. Peel off.
And the fighters started their supersonic attack on the clumsy, slow-moving plane. Faster and faster they went, and then...
Pull up! Pull up!
Sure enough, Peach Fuzz had reversed his course and was heading right toward the attacking plane.
Turn around! Turn around!
Unfortunately for the Major, his planes were going so fast that they were halfway past Ohio before they could reverse directions. But by that time, Peter Peach Fuzz's plane was out of sight.
How do you know what direction to go in, Captain?
Easy, Rocky. I just spin this wheel like this, and we head northwest.
That's a direction finder?
It found the direction, didn't it?
Meanwhile, in the mystery plane, somewhere up ahead, the pilot was following a scientifically planned course.
How come we keep changing direction, Iwan?
Look at this map, Norbert. Not even radar can follow us on this course.
No? Then who's that?
Sure enough, by sheer dumb idiot luck, Captain Peach Fuzz's course had neatly intercepted the mystery plane.
Captain, look! That must be the plane! Bullwinkle!
Okay, Hadley, drag out the secret weapon.
And in a moment, a deadly-looking instrument was aimed backward out of the mystery plane and zeroed right on our hero. Don't miss our next episode, Squirrel in the Scope, or Ring Around the Rocky.
It looks as if our time is just about run out.
Just enough left to tell him who the sponsor was.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop.
Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.